How you want to do this thing? How you want to do this thing? How you want to do this thing? 3, 2, 1. Tell me how you want to do it.
Today we start the vlog by standing in the middle of the street outside the Solve for Why offices. Right there, we're going to go inside. We're getting ready to film season 9, I believe, of Poker Out Loud. And your boy is in the cast. So, wish me luck.
The money coming in like fluids. No pain, no gain, I knew it. You can take it to the bank, turn it up so they know what I'm saying, man. How you want to do it? I do my thing and I made my own lane, man. How you want to do it? Me and you could never be the same, so how you want to do it? How you gonna pop it and rock it? Stop it, I'ma take off like a rocket. Me and mine have never been one for the optics. Free your mind away from the popular prophets.
You're in a hand, please just give me I would say give me a finger, but let's be more specific. Give me like just a pause and I'll hold the action until you give me a thumbs up that you're ready to go. Okay?
And just a general rule, just don't complete your action until you're done talking.
No way, I'm not the one to play with. You taste it dangerous, ain't it amazing? This ancient basics, said it for ages. One look on their faces, tell you they ain't slick, man. You can walk a couple miles in my shoes. I got 100 miles and I'm through. So I got a question simply for you. Tell me how you want to do it. I got the money coming in like fluids. No pain, no gain, I knew it. You can take it to the bank, turn it up so they know what I'm saying, man. How you want?
Probably a good spot just to check back. Slide this small unsuited ace into my protected reach.
I do my thing and I made my own lane, man. How you want to do it? Me and you could never be the same, so how you want to do it? Hey, you cannot stop this ball.
That's good. It's 4 clubs.
So we are done with filming season 9, day 2 of Poker Out Loud. And I'm not going to tell you how we did, because then if I tell you how we did, there's no need to watch the whole thing. But take a look at my face. Do I look upset? Do I look upset? Watch the season when it drops on the Solve for Why channel. I was planning on actually going out to play tonight, either Bellagio or Encore, but it's kind of late. So probably just go home and we'll pick this thing up tomorrow.
About a week later, we were sitting around the house watching the newly revamped Lodge live stream, and our buddy Brad isn't having the best go of it. We don't like it. We don't like it, not one bit. I need to head to Austin. I need to head to Austin to rescue him. This is a job for Super J-Man. Let's go to Austin. I quickly book a flight and head to the airport and wait. Delay after delay after delay, and finally, 9 hours after arriving at the airport, they cancel the flight and offer me a $50 voucher for another flight that has to be used by May. Are you serious? Tilted isn't a strong enough word to convey my feelings at this moment. I just head home.
We have 10 big ones. We need to double.
So we are vlogging tonight. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when. Besides to tell you what's happening tonight, Lily is playing what are you playing? Circuit event? Yeah. She's playing an online circuit event, and we'll probably get going after that. At least that's the plan. Unless she wins, and I ain't vlogging any of it. Cold and rainy here in Vegas, but we have made it to the Encore. We should be pretty close to the top of the list. So let's just get in there and play some cards.
The poker room at the Encore is broken up into 3 sections. There's a section to the left of the desk, a section to the right, and then there's a section in the back. That's where the higher stakes games usually are. The section on the left usually has the 1-3 games, and the section on the right hosts the 2-5. Each section has its own vibe. Occasionally, there'll be a 2-5 game on the left side, and it always feels a bit weird playing on that side of the room. I don't know why, but it does. Today, our 2-5 game was on that side of the room. It's just different. It feels more like a party on the left side of the room. So when we arrive at the Encore, it's packed, like packed. There's a win tournament series going on, which generally increases the traffic to the cash games, and tonight is no exception. I'm on both the 2-5 and the 5-10-20 no limit lists. There's no seat available at the larger game. In fact, I'm like 12th on that list. However, a 2-5 seat is open, so I'm ushered into that. I was card dead, so I saw orbit after orbit folding hand after hand for quite a while. But one thing I noticed almost immediately is that the one seat was button straddling, and everyone else at the table hated it. There wasn't much I could do about it since I was in the big blind when it was the one seat's button. However, the 4 seat started straddling under the gun in order to block the button straddle. Needless to say, the 1 seat wasn't very happy about this.
You straddle, you just get rewarded with slots.
You straddle, you get rewarded by blocking the button straddle, which is not low. That was the best part of your straddle. Yeah. Yeah. In the first hand I actually B-pip, I opened a $20 under the gun with King Queen offsuit in both the low jack and the small blind, in the 1 seat, calls. Like I said, he wasn't happy, and he seemed to like playing a lot of hands. Probably too many hands, but with only a few orbits in, it's just a feeling. I don't have enough data to really know that yet. 3 of us see the flop. Jack 10-5 rainbow. It could be worse. The small blind checks and I continue for $30 and they both call. Not really the desired effect, but at least I didn't face a raise. The turn 7 of diamonds is 0 help to me. When the small blind checks, I do too, and the low jack follows our lead. I doubt we have the best hand, but we should have quite a few outs. Let's just hope this river card cooperates. It doesn't. It's the 2 of clubs. The small blind checks again, and I could bet here, but the problem is that I'm holding the cards that I would want my opponents to fold. I don't expect any jacks to fold at this point, so I'd just be targeting random ace highs in hands like pocket 4s or pocket 6s. It's a hard sell. I check give up on this one, and the low jack checks and tables ace jack offsuit for the win, so yeah, 0 chance that bluff would have worked. The next hand, the 1 seat, is now the button and commences to button straddle. The under the gun player begins to put the under the gun straddle on again, but pulls it back. I'm not sure why. Action folds around to the small blind, and at the Encore, if action folds to the button straddle, it skips him and action continues with the blinds, then comes back to the button. It's really confusing for new players sometimes. The small blind limps, as do I with King 6 suited, and the straddler raises to $45. The small blind comes along, and I do mainly because I think the 1 seat is still playing too many hands and playing them passively at that. I don't think it'll be very hard to take this pot from him if this board favors me. 3 of us see King 6 Jack with 2 hearts. The small blind checks, and well, this board, although not favoring my range, hits my exact hand damn hard. We don't have the betting lead though, so we check with designs on check raising. The straddler bets, and it's a big one. Full pot, $130. The small blind folds, and now action is back on me. His full-size pot bet is a little concerning. If we choose a normal size check raise, followed by him calling, this pot will get super bloated quickly. So we check raise smaller. We make it $300 to go. What I expected was a call. I never thought he would fold, as his flop bet size is screaming, I have something. What I didn't expect was him to tank shove for almost $1,000. My hand blocking 2 sets is nice here. He could have a flush draw, and he could have jacks, but such is life. We call his shove pretty quickly. The turn brings the deuce of spades and the river the 6 of diamonds, giving me a full house. He exposes the first runner-up hand, an ace-king offsuit. We table our hand, and we're done with his button straddles for the rest of this session.
Overkill.
So I saw the pair, I was getting it in. Like the button straddle was just too much for me. It was low key tilting the piss out of me, that button straddle.
He's doing. So, you know what? Back in LA, I don't have any time to go inside. I don't have the patience to go and sit there.
You know they have the kind that come to your house. A hand passes, and I'm in conversation with the guy on my left about in-home massages or something. And then I remember that I have to take notes on that King 6 straddle hand. So I'm furiously typing all the relevant details into my phone, completely unaware that action is on me for the next hand. I quickly put my phone back in its place, notice that there is a limp under the gun, and that the under the gun 1 player has raised to $25. It's at this point that I look down at Pocket Kings. What? I quickly re-raise to $75 and everyone folds except for the under the gun 1 player. Heads up, we see the flop that you always see when someone opens from early position and you re-raise with kings. Ace, deuce, 3, rainbow. Standard. Check, check. I don't know anything about this player, he literally just sat down. 8 of diamonds. Check, check. The river brings the ace of spades and he checks again. Well, that's good. We bet $80 and he folds rather quickly. Here the player under the gun opens to $20 and I 3-bet that open to $60 with ace-queen offsuit. Action folds back around to him and he calls. Heads up, we see a flop of 9-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. He checks, and with this hand, I check back. A c-bet isn't always necessary here. He does lead for $60 on the turn 10 of clubs. This happens a lot when the original aggressor checks the flop. Villains will just almost auto-bet the turn. Let them. I call. The river is normally the true serum for all but the most aggressive players. When he checks the 9 of clubs board pairing river, I have an easy check back here. My hand is often good on this run out following his river check. I didn't bet the flop, so he has no reason to think that I have a 9, and therefore if he had a 10, it would still be good and he'd still be betting, right? Ace high good. I win this pot. This hand opens with an under the gun limp. The hijack then raises to $15, which is called by the cutoff. Ace-10 offsuit in this spot is sort of meh. Definitely not good enough to raise, even on the button, so we call, which allows the big blind and the under the gun limper to get in there as well. 5 of us see a flop of ace, 6, 7 rainbow and action folds around to the cutoff, who bets $40. Flopping top pair with a decent kicker and then folding would be quite idiotic. With 3 players left behind me to act, my hand isn't quite strong enough to raise, so we just call again. The big blind and under the gun player fold and the hijack chooses to come along, so we are down to 3. The deuce of diamonds turn should be a blank. Besides putting 2 diamonds on the board, it brings nothing to this conversation. Hijack and cutoff check, and it's quite likely that my pair of aces could just be the best hand. We bet $100 and not surprisingly the hijack calls and the cutoff folds. In this situation, the hijack should have the stronger of the 2 opening ranges. The deuce of spade river pairs the board and the hijack checks again. Now it's decision time. I could bet here, but if I do, will I get called 50% of the time and still be good? The hijack can easily have an ace with a better kicker than mine, and is he really going to call me on both turn and river with a hand like pocket 10s? Doubtful. We check it back. He doesn't show, but I bet my pocket 10s guess wasn't too far off.
When you see me making this walk is for one of 2 reasons. Either I'm doing the mid-session update or the session is over. And in this case, I'm doing the mid-session update for a 2-5 session that's quite boring. There's really no reason to even walk outside to talk about it because there's really nothing to talk about. Won a big pot with King 6 suited, and I don't know. That's about it. Been in the game for 3 or so hours. I think I'm probably up 1,200, and we're gonna try to make this thing last another couple hours, and then we're gonna get out of here. That's the plan. There's your mid-session update.
Sometimes plans don't always work out. In this one, the under the gun 1-player limps, and we raise to $25 from the hijack with ace-10 suited. The big blind decides to come along, as does the original limper. We don't catch a horrible flop in queen jack deuce rainbow. We don't have a made hand, obviously, but we do have a board that's really good for a range, and we have a gut shot to the nuts, not to mention the backdoor nut flush draw. Both players check to me, and I bet $50 with dreams that this hand ends right now. It doesn't. The big blind folds, but the under the gun 1-player continues. The turn 9 of spades dashes our flush draw dreams, but our straight draw hopes pick up 4 more outs. When he checks, I check it back. The river 6 of spades bricks everything, and now the under the gun 1-player leads into me for $75. This normally happens because he has a made hand and is scared that I'll check it back. In reality, I most likely would have bet. With this current course of action, this is an easy fold. As this night is winding down, so is our table. Here we're 6-handed, and we have another player that fancies the action-killing button straddle. So frustrating. Action folds around to myself in the big blind, and I open to $30 with queen 10 offsuit, and only the straddle calls. Heads up, I flop top pair on 10-8-4 with 2 diamonds, and that's damn good. I decide to lead out, even though I'm out of position, for $15, and the button calls. The king of diamonds puts an overcard to my pair of 10s on board and brings a 3rd diamond. By my quick calculations, I figure that if another diamond falls on the river, I'll have the 2nd nut flush. That's really good. I check, and the button bets $35. It's not like I love this spot, but shorthanded, a pair, and a flush draw, we call. The king of hearts river, albeit not a diamond, is still awesome, as it makes it less likely that the button has that king he was repping on the turn. Unlike the previous villain, I'm not going to bet and let him fold out all his bluffs. I check, and as expected, he bets $50, and I call pretty quickly. He turns over ace-4 offsuit, and we pick up this hand. Down to 5 players now, and this is most likely going to be the last hand at this table as everyone is racking up. I open the small blind with 8-7 offsuit to $15, and the big blind calls. We catch a pretty decent flop in 6-5-5 with 2 clubs. I mean, we flopped a draw. I'm just trying to be optimistic here, people. We check. The big blind bets $10, which makes sense as this board is more his than mine. I call with my draw. The turn jack of spades doesn't help me in the least. I check again, and if a reasonable bet gets fired here, I'm done. That doesn't happen though. The turn gets checked through. The river brings the 9 of diamonds, which completes my straight, and I come full pot. $50. After some hemming and hawing, the big blind finds the call. My whole cards hit their backs, and I win the last hand of the night.
I make it look easy.
So we are back. We're back at home. It's probably 1:32 in the morning. Tonight's session at the Encore was kind of, I won't call it meh, just kind of run of the mill. Played for 3 hours or so, was in the game for 1,500 and out for 31.15. And by the way, I know a lot of people ask me what I use to track my winnings and losses, and it is an app called Poker Analytics. You can find it on both app stores. I highly recommend it. And looking at the app, it told me that I played 2 hours, 57 minutes, and my hourly was $545 tonight. $545. I'm sure that's highly sustainable at 2.5. But that being said, I use it. I highly recommend it. Go get it. The session at the Encore, sometimes it just be this way. It's just not an exciting session. I won a big pot with King 6. I remember I called a guy down with Ace Queen offsuit in another hand and won that. And besides that, I'm sure there were some other hands in there that I'm probably missing, but nothing really stands out. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this up by saying, if you like the vlogs, comment, subscribe. I'll probably respond to a comment that you leave eventually, and we're going to bed. So I will catch you next time, probably really soon, but next time. Bye. So here we are, one more again.
So I got some work to do. Here are the nominations for Best Vlogger.
There's a small handful of people that really pushed me off the cliff and gave me the faith in myself to do it. Those people are Jamin Burton.
I'm getting ready to do something crazy. Something that I have actually never done before.
Saved money there. Sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't mess up that many times this time. Not that many. Near perfect.
Of the memorable hands that stand out, the King says...
Indeed, Vegas was dreamt up out of almost nothing. Before Hoover Dam gave it steady water and power, it was a struggling town, most notable as a stopover for those who wanted to get to the real city, Los Angeles.
What are you doing?
Starting a vlog.
Hopefully I look cute.
Okay, Saturday night, 9 o'clock. I just called into the Encore. I'm going to jump in their 2-5 and maybe their 5-10-20 list. It is Saturday night, end of February. I just called into the Encore. I got on their 2-5 list. It's Saturday night, end of February. I just called into the Encore. I got on their 2-5 list. We're definitely going to play that. We might jump in the 5-10-20 if it looks good. It's freezing cold outside. I'm supposed to be in Austin right now, but I'm here. So let's make the best of it. When I make this walk, it is time for a mid-session update, but it is dark outside and I don't have much to say. So we're going in a loop. See how we're doing this? Very quick. I'm in the 2-5 game. It's quite boring. It's quite dead. I doubled up about an hour ago. I think I played 2 hands since then. And there's not really much to say else about it. 2-5 at Encore, typically good. Tonight, meh. Low-key, they had to be one of the quickest mid-session updates I've ever done. Another vlog, another today. That being said, wasn't a magical session. I'm sure there were some other hands in there. Nothing stands out. And that's just...
All mornings are the same. I don't want to play this game. Let me go.